What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today we need to be taking a little bit of a look at some new discards which are going to be coming out in the new Keyforge expansion, Worlds Collide. And shout out to the lovely Brad Minning over at Amazing Spider Tank for helping to collate some of the images together. Lovely dude, lot of help. So what do we actually have? We've only actually seen Dendrick so far. So, yeah, it's nice to have some proper new discards. So let's start off with Harbinger of Doom, a 2-power creature with 3 armor, making it one of the very few creatures with more armor than power. And off the top of my head, the one that really springs to mind here is Collector Worm. Love me some of that worm. And it reads, destroy each creature. It's a board wiping creature. That's amazing. Now look, this is not shy of board wiping. Back in Call of the Archons, it had Gateway to Dis, which could literally destroy every creature on the board, although it did give you 3 chains. And it also had Key to Dis, which was an artifact with an Omni ability, which destroyed each creature. So you could do that regardless of what your active house was. Then we fast forward to Age of Ascension, and we had Unlocked Gateway, which was an Omega card, meaning it had to be the last thing you did on your doing stuff part of the turn, and it destroyed each creature. Board wiping and Dis have gone hand in hand since Dis came around in the first place. And this is just another example of it. I like this. But it could backfire massively. So the fact that it's got 3 armor means it's going to be moderately difficult to take out. But let's say, for argument's sake, you've got 7 creatures on the board and your opponent's got a troll. Yes, I know we don't know if troll's going to be in the next set. As I say in all my videos, until we know exactly what's going to be in the set, just using examples. Troll's an 8-power creature, so Troll can do this. Brilliant. So Troll takes it out. And okay, Troll goes down as well, but all of a sudden, there is basically like a self-destruct button on your opponent's board, whereby if you take out that one card, you take out all of their creatures. You take out one creature to clear their board. Now, it clears yours as well, and your opponent can do the same thing. So your opponent can go, oh, they've got a Troll, they can throw Harbinger of Doom at your Troll, and then destroy Troll. Because they actually don't. They destroy Harbinger of Doom, but that destroys all of your opponent's creatures. So they've got a magic destroy everything button. This is very much a 2-sided card. I get the, and I don't know, we're not going to know until we really start playing with a card, but I get the feeling there are going to be a lot of turns where your opponent just lets you reap with this because they cannot afford to take it out, and you've got a creature that you can afford to just sit there and reap with. I like this. It is a creature that your opponent cannot take down unless they've either got no other creatures or they're willing to get rid of all their creatures. It's a lot of fun. How about an action card before we finish off with some more creatures? The Evil Eye. It is an action card with an amber bonus, and it reads, keys cost plus 3 amber during your opponent's next turn. It is literally Lash of Broken Dreams as an action card. Except, in 2 ways it's much, much better, and in 1 way it's much, much worse. Now, the ways in which it is better, it gives you an amber bonus, Lash of Broken Dreams doesn't. And it works now. You play it and your opponent's keys cost plus 3 amber now. Whereas Lash of Broken Dreams is an artifact that does that on an action, so you have to play down the artifact, it goes down exhausted, you wait a turn, and if you really want to make your opponent's keys cost more amber now, gutted, it won't do that. Yeah, it's gone. It's over. You can't do it. Okay, fine, that sucks, etc. But you know what? This does allow you to do that. And this is awesome. Of course, the downside is the way in which it is much worse than Lash of Broken Dreams. Lash of Broken Dreams can go over and over again, and this is a one-shot. Maybe you've got a way to get it back from the discard pile, or maybe you've got some way to, you know, just run through your deck really quickly, and then your discard pile becomes your deck, and then it's back. I'm not saying it's only once during the game. It doesn't get purged like library access does now. But I am saying that you're not going to be able to chain this turn after turn after turn, not unless you've got like 7 or 8 of them in the deck, in which case you probably could do it every turn, but you wouldn't be getting too much else done. And the fact of the matter is, we don't have that many cards that can just increase the cost of forging now. We've got a bunch. There's a couple of Mars cards, which will definitely not be in Worlds Collide because Mars aren't, although they could come in as legacy cards. We got stuff like Jammer Pack and Grabber Jammer, but Jammer Pack increases the cost by 2, and Grabber Jammer increases the cost by 1. Proclamation 346E is great, but it only increases the cost of forging by 2. Increasing the cost of forging by 3 is actually really gosh darn good. I love this card. And even if your opponent's not about to forge a key, you still get the amber bonus. On the Fringes. It is a 1-power creature with no armor, so there's a million cards out there like Throwing Stars or Seeker Needle that will get rid of this extremely quickly, which isn't ideal. But it does have elusive, so at least if you want to beat it up with other creatures, you've got to break the elusive before you actually take it down. And it reads, during your turn, after you discard a discard from your hand, you may purge a discard from a discard pile. Man, it gets awkward. I've seen that with commentating. Discard and discard does kind of get annoying. If you do, steal 1 amber. I mean, literally, twice it says discard, 1 or 2 words away from discard. That's got to be awkward, ladies and gentlemen. That's got to be awkward. And you knew they knew this when they designed the cards. Anyway, I digress. Now, when it says discarding a discard, it means from your hand during your turn. During your turn, you are allowed to play, use, or discard from your hand any cards of the active house. So in order for this to work, you've got to discard a card from your hand, and you might want to play it. It might be a creature you want to put down, or an artifact you want to put down, or an action you want to use. Now, it might be Unlocked Gateway, which would be perfect, because Unlocked Gateway, oftentimes you don't actually want to play it. It's a very powerful card, as previously mentioned, but you don't always want to wipe yours and your opponent's battle line of creatures. So okay, that's kind of nice. That would be a good one, but you're not always going to want to get rid of one. Now, if you're against a deck that is playing this as a house, you're loving it, because you get to purge one of their cards from their discard pile. If you're against another discard or a disc deck playing discards, it's going to get confusing. I love this. I adore this, because you're actually purging one of your opponent's cards and then stealing an amber. Most of the time, it is definitely going to be worth discarding a card from your hand, even one you'd rather use, if the reward you get is purging a card from your opponent's discard pile and stealing an amber. That is a fair trade-off. But if you're not against a deck playing this, you're discarding a card from your hand and you're purging a card from your discard pile to steal an amber. And look, if they're sitting there with 6 amber, yes, obviously that's worth it. If they're sitting there with 10 amber and you're able to play a charrette to bring them down to 7, then it might be worth it. And charrette has been in both sets so far. But a lot of the time, stealing 1 amber is not going to be worth the investment if your opponent doesn't have this. If your opponent has this, then I think this is a phenomenal card. Otherwise, it gives you a little bit of amber control that will sometimes be perfect and other times will not be worth the pain you have to go to get it rolling. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, Snag. 5 power, which is quite high, 0 armor, love the artwork on this incidentally, and it's got a fight skill. Your opponent must choose the house of the creature Snag fights as their active house on their next turn. So this follows on the glorious tradition of discards that either force you into choosing a house or stop you from choosing a particular house. So back in Call of the Archons, we had Restringuntus, which locked you out of a particular house until Restringuntus went away, and Control the Weak, which locked you into a particular house for 1 turn. And then Restringuntus actually came back in Age of Ascension. Control the Weak did not. But we did add in Tesmal that had a reap skill, which was very much like Restringuntus, though just for one turn. You got to choose a house and your opponent was not allowed to choose that house the next turn. Well, this is another one of those. Now, it's only a 5-power creature. It doesn't have much armor. What would be amazing here, if they're in the set, and we don't know if they will be, but trying to use a card like, for instance, Panpaka Jagger, which gives all the creatures to the left of it in a battle line skirmish, that would be amazing. And there's other things that give skirmish, that's just an example. But anything you can do to give this creature skirmish is going to be way better. Otherwise, I mean, look, this will get you one turn of choosing your opponent's house. But after that, Snag's probably gone down. And this could lead to some proper mind games. It might mean that your opponent wants to choose a particular house next turn, so they try and make sure that they don't have any creatures on the board of that house, so that you can't use Snag to make them choose that house. I absolutely love it. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Your opponent must choose a house of that creature that Snag has fought next turn. You can force them into a particular house, just like with Control the Weak, and we've seen how powerful that can be. And if you've got a bunch of weak creatures and Snag can do this 2 or 3 times, you are gonna have a bad game. If you can find some way to put skirmish onto your own Snag, you're gonna have a very good game. Not the easiest one to ever get rolling, and it can be taken away, and your opponent can control this, but only by controlling the creatures they've got out. And as I say with every game, anytime your opponent is not doing something that they want to do, just to stop you doing something to hurt them, that's a win for you, ladies and gentlemen. I am a big, big fan of Snag. Alrighty then, lots of fun new discards. I've told you what I think about them. I want to know what you think about them. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at the Wossy. That's where we talk about games like Keyforge. And do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, all that good stuff. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wossy Plays.